Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tyler, and today we are going to be looking at what would have happened had Champa trained Universe 6. Now today I am not here alone, as I am actually joined by another fellow Dragon Ball What If YouTuber, that being Damon What Ifs. And if you guys want to check out Go to Dragon Ball What Ifs, not to mention some other content, I believe he does Final Fantasy stuff, so he's versatile as hell. Be sure to go and check out his channel, which will be linked down in the description. He's a homie of mine, so yeah, go and subscribe, bro. And honestly, let's just cut this intro short and dive right into this what if, as I'm pretty hyped since this what if is shining light on goats such as Hit, Cabba, Magetta, etc. And I hope you guys do enjoy this what if.
Hey, collecting rings like I'm Sonic. Bitches wanna party. My wrist getting heavy, so I got 'em on a diet. Yeah, flex like I'm Hogan. The oven's coming over. Yeah, we respect.
We'll start our story off after the Universe 6 tournament, where Champa would thank his brother for restoring his Earth, but when Goku and the others mention how they want to fight again, Champa will ensure the next time they meet, their universe will win. In all honesty, if Champa had just whipped these guys into shape, he for sure could have won. I mean, think about it. Without Goku and Vegeta, Beerus and Whis' students, they would have easily bullied them. So imagine if they trained Universe 6 just like how Beerus and Whis trained Goku and Vegeta. They would be built different. And at that point, on their way home, he would ask Universe 6 if they would like to get stronger, and the group would nod, with Magetta, Frost, and Botama wanting to get revenge on the Saiyans, while Hit and Cabba want to try and reach a new peak. And once Cabba and Hit reach a new peak, Cabba will challenge Vegeta, and Hit will challenge Goku. Champa, seeing the group's fire in their eyes, decides that Vados will train them for a bit, and whenever they make some progress, they can try and challenge Champa. In the meantime, Champa is just going to be taking a nap for about 6 months. And so, similarly to how Whis was training Goku and Vegeta for about 6 months, Vados would be doing this for the entire group of Universe 6. Vados, seeing Hit's impressive skill, not to mention adapting with his time skip, would introduce him to the techniques such as Ultra Instinct, which Champa barely has a grasp of. However, someone like Hit for sure could try and achieve this. Hit has a specific technique that allows him to get the jump on his opponent throughout the battle, and he can even adapt on this technique. UI is a technique that allows the user to subconsciously dodge attacks, not to mention basically makes the body move on its own. So imagine this technique on top of Hit's time skip and basically adapting both of them. And for those of you who are saying, well, this is only 6 months of training, why would Hit already be learning UI? First of all, Hit's going to be going through the training way easier than everyone else because he's so much stronger than everybody else. Not to mention his adaptability allows him to progress way more rapidly than anyone else. And Vados, seeing this and Hit's impressive skills, I honestly don't know why she wouldn't try and introduce UI to him, especially in his early stages of training, which he can try and adapt of, and now he has a goal to try and pursue. Now, as for the other fighters, I think Botama would have realized that just solely relying on his pocket dimension stomach isn't going to be enough, and he would try and increase his physical strength. Leading into him, instead of just having a fat stomach, would still have a fat stomach because, it's a pocket dimension, he can't do anything about that, but now his arms and legs are slightly more muscular. Meanwhile, Magetta would have been focusing on trying to overcome his biggest weakness, that being insults. And after being constantly just packed by Frost for months on end, Magetta finally snaps one day and actually just smacks Frost into an unconscious state. Magetta realizes that this stupid weakness costed him the fight with Vegeta, but now that he's finally done tolerating all these insults, he's just going to be letting his fist do the talking, and he's going to be a lot more confident in himself. He and Botama would increase their strength physically by training with each other constantly. As this was happening, Cabba and Frost would have been slowly forming a rivalry with each other because Cabba doesn't like what Frost stands for essentially just masking everything in order to just try and get a better benefit for himself. Meanwhile, Frost doesn't like Cabba for just essentially being a goody two-shoes, and both of them not liking each other would try and push one another in order to try and surpass each other. This leads into Cabba during the training unlocking not only Super Saiyan Grade 4, but also Super Saiyan 2, until Vados one day approaches Cabba and tells Cabba that he's ready to try and learn the way of the gods. And Vados would teleport Cabba into her staff, leading into him learning God Ki, and as this was happening, Frost would have been trying to get into the staff as well, but Vados tells him that he's not ready. At that point, Frost would just be frustrated that Cabba is getting ahead of him, and Frost would even try and take on Hit, telling Vados if he can beat her star pupil, then he can for sure head into the staff. However, this doesn't work out in his favor, and Frost just gets badly beaten. However, Frost keeps getting back up, leading into him getting stronger and stronger. So essentially, Hit is going to be the Frieza to Frost's Tagoma and be a punching bag for about a couple months. And eventually Cabba emerges from the staff, obtaining Super Saiyan God. However, he's not quite there yet for Super Saiyan Blue, but he just needs a little bit more training. The group keeps on training with one another until eventually the 6-month mark finally hits, leading into Champa being awoken by Vados, and Champa would then be ready to take on Universe 6. As soon as they see Champa walking by, they stop their training and they just stand right in front of him, meeting eye to eye with him. Champa would laugh, saying how they can try and come at him first, as Frost, Megetta, and Botamo immediately charge in as soon as he says that. Frost would try and throw the first punch in his base form, leading it to Champa easily evading him and kicking him into the air, sending him flying. However, that's when Botamo jumps up into the air, and with his super strong legs, he's able to easily jump to where Frost is at, and he would grab him while landing on his back, ensuring Frost's safety. Meanwhile, Megetta would be charging in at Champa. Champa, not even making a move, would prepare insults at Megetta, trying to call him a stupid tinhead and how he can't do anything right. However, as Megetta seemingly is affected, Champa laughs as he slowly walks up to Megetta, trying to finish him off, but that's when Megetta surprises Champa, revealing he has long gotten past that weakness and almost lands a blow on Champa. However, it's revealed that Champa barely dodges Megetta and would just kick him away. However, as this happens, Cabba would just start shooting ki blasts, as Botamo does the same. However, Champa's just easily deflecting both of their blasts with one hand, but that's when Cabba would then tap into Super Saiyan God, surprising Champa, and that's when Frost powers up himself, transforming into his golden equivalent, but it's not going to be looking like golden because Golden Frost would be super cursed, but instead he's going to be having a cooler looking state. This Frost would be stronger than even God Cabba, and as God Cabba is already distracting Champa, Frost would actually land the first blow on Champa in the back of the head, but as soon as Frost lands that attack, we see Champa slowly turn his head around, enraged at Frost trying to go for a sneak attack. Champa's not allowing that, and he would just blitz Frost, and he would grab his face and launch him into the ground, saying don't ever try that again. Megetta, Botamo, and Cabba decide to move in, with Megetta and Botamo swiftly moving to Champa's sides and rushing in at his sides, while Cabba would be flying from the top, making sure Champa had no escape, but Champa would then remind them that they forgot another direction, as Champa would just casually move backwards, leading into all three of them crashing into the ground. Cabba easily recovers from this attack and would tell Champa that they didn't forget any direction, as hit would then be revealed, using his time skip to then land some good vital strikes on Champa, and Champa, after getting hit, would then get enraged, losing his cool, and would then proceed to rush at Botamo and Megetta, who would easily be getting overpowered, and those two would be the first being taken out. After this, Champa tries to take out Cabba and Frost one by one. However, Frost and Cabba are forced into a situation to put their differences aside and actually utilize teamwork, which would be so bad that would actually throw Champa off and give them the advantage. However, Champa would just be getting more and more angry, leading into him using more and more power and overwhelming the two of them. However, that's when Hit utilizes his time skip yet again and saves the two, and this would lead into him getting into a 1v1 scenario with Champa. Initially, Hit is actually doing alright, but with Champa's anger just building up even more and more, Hit is getting overwhelmed, and Hit would have no other choice but to utilize his training, and as Champa is about to go in for the final blow against Hit, he would awaken Ultra Instinct and would then combat Champa, easily overpowering him. With Hit having the ability to move without thinking and also having time skip to essentially get one step ahead of his opponent, here Champa could just never land a blow on Hit. However, when Hit is out of his Ultra Instinct form, Champa would then recover, using a super suppressed Hakai Blast that would take Hit out of the fight. After this, it's really up to Frost and Cabba, and Frost attempts to try and fight Champa, but he just fails, and now it's just Cabba versus Champa. And he says out loud that he will achieve the power that Vegeta once had, and he will even surpass him as well. Cabba would charge at Champa while Champa does the same super suppressed and would tell Cabba well done. However, as Cabba is seemingly about to get outsped by Champa, Cabba would then remember what Vegeta said, and he would then snap. His aura would then suddenly flash in blue, and this would allow Cabba to get the speed he needs to surpass Champa and punch him right in the gut. He would send Champa flying, as Champa would then recover, and he would see Cabba in a blue aura along with blue hair. Cabba has emerged into Super Saiyan Blue, and he would use the last bit of his power into one final Gallic Cannon, while Champa would shoot out a little bit of destruction energy, which completely negates Cabba's attack. However, as seemingly Cabba's about to lose, Cabba would then use all of his power as well to then grab the Hakai Blast and push it back. However, as the last bits of his blast is consumed by the Hakai energy, Cabba would then put his hands out trying to push back the Hakai energy. And we see the Hakai energy slowly getting ready to erase Cabba, and if someone doesn't intervene now, Cabba will die. And this will lead into Vados then intervening, taking away Champa's blast, and then slapping Champa and Cabba for both going that extreme over just a little spar. With that, time would pass, with the group still training, and eventually we would still get the Tournament of Power being set up like in canon, and our OG Universe 6 team being formed. However, with 5 of our members already being in contact with each other, and they have 2 days of preparation, I think the Saiyans easily would gather the rest of the members, and they would have some type of time in order to form strategies with each other, knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses, etc., who's good with who, what are good combo moves they can use. And right beforehand, they would even all spar with each other, with Kale going berserk like in canon. However, Hit would stop Kale before she gets any stronger, while Frost would just easily beat up Caulifla, and Cabba would use Super Saiyan Blue to beat up Frost as well. Anyways, the Tournament of Power would finally arrive, and we would then head into the World of Void, with Universe 6 saying hi to Universe 7, along with the other universes, and when the Tournament of Power starts, instead of all of them just going their own separate ways, we only see some fighters going their own separate ways, such as Caulifla, Kale, along with Hit and Frost. As for the other fighters, they're sticking with Cabba, who's essentially the leader of Universe 6, since he was the one who wanted to plan all the strategies and stuff. And so similar with Universe 7, they have a Universe 6 circle formation, and I think their first big challenge would be Universe 4, who would try to jump Universe 6, where they encounter Mana, Damon, the Invisible Man, Nink, and Ganos. However, Universe 6 is a lot more powerful than in canon, so Cabba just slaps Mana in his base form and doesn't even need Super Saiyan 2. Nink, the Invisible Man, and Damon are all defeated by Megetta and Botamo, who simply just eat their attacks. And as Nink is about to launch Megetta off the stage, this would lead into him utilizing his lava to burn Nink off of him, and Megetta would finish it off with an elbow slam, eliminating Nink off the stage. With these fighters all easily wiped out, this means Roshi never pushes his limit, but Frost, however, still sadly eliminates Krillin. Caulifla would still fight Goku, and that encounter is the same, but when Cabba and the group see Jiren almost defeat Kale, they know how he's going to be the biggest issue. And due to Hit already being on the verge of defeating Dispo in canon, but this Hit is now exponentially more powerful, even with his Lightspeed mode, Dispo's just going to be overwhelmed, and Hit would eliminate him along with the other Pride Trooper. I forgot his name, but it's the midget with the wires. Now all that's left is Toppo and Jiren, who keep their distance, and Hit and Goku promise to settle their fight later. Cabba and the others would have helped Kale and Caulifla whenever they fought the Pride Troopers, along with also joining the formation after this. Meaning Universe 6's circle is now even more stacked, and we move to episode 108, where we still have Frost transforming into his final form and Frost seemingly being played by Frieza. But after Frieza blasts Frost and the smoke clears, it's revealed that Frost completely ate this attack like it was nothing. He would then proceed to power up into his golden equivalent, and Frieza would do the same, leading into then Frost vs Frieza, where Frost would be so much more powerful than Frieza that it would force Gohan to step in, leading into a 2v1. Frost is a little overwhelmed taking on two people, but he can still take on these two pretty handedly, and this would lead into the Universe 6 circle even coming in to aid him. And the Namekians and Cabba would have stalled Frieza and Gohan long enough for the other members of Universe 6 to grab Frost out of there, and the Namekians and Cabba would then shoot Ki Blast to the ground to try and distract Gohan and Frieza, allowing them to escape. So Universe 6 dips with Frost not really too beat up, and Frieza and Gohan mostly beat up. So I guess this is technically a W? And so Frost would stay in the game a lot longer, and we would move on to episodes 109 through 110, which is the special where Goku activates UI and fights Jiren, which is all the same as in canon. And the next big change would be in the next episode with Jiren vs Hit commencing. Here Hit, utilizing his full power, would be even closer to defeating Jiren, but it's still not enough. However, when Jiren fires the final attack, similarly to Goku, Hit would break past his limits, awakening Ultra Instinct, and he would then combat Jiren, forcing him to actually use his full power and actually try. Hit would use his time lag technique once again to get the edge on Jiren, and as he's about to eliminate him, his Ultra Instinct would run out, allowing Jiren to easily break out of Hit's time cage. Cabba and the others seeing this and knowing Hit's value on the team and they can't allow him to get eliminated here, wouldn't respect Hit's wishes, and instead Cabba in Super Saiyan Blue just blitzes right past Jiren and would grab Hit, making sure Jiren doesn't eliminate him. And as that happens, Dr. Rota would then meet Jiren eye to eye and would tell Universe 6 to get away. He's going to be taking on Jiren by himself. Dr. Rota just gets eliminated with the glare, and Jiren doesn't really feel like chasing down Hit, especially since he's already weared down UI. So now the two biggest threats are no longer threats, and Jiren is just going to go back to meditating. We move on to the next episode, and instead of Cabba fighting Mana and then Frieza, we just get Frieza trying to attempt to take out Universe 6 altogether, since not only is their strongest fighter down, but he wants to try and get revenge on not only Frost, but wants to take down the Saiyans. He fires multiple death beams, which everybody in the group evades except for Hit, who's too injured to dodge, but we see Cabba coming to Hit's aid and deflecting all the blasts fired by Frieza. This would then lead into him going into his golden form and trying to combat Cabba, and instead of Cabba being eliminated, we would get Cabba not only contending with Frieza in his god form, but then using Super Saiyan Blue to full on surpass him. Well, not completely contend with Frieza in his god form, but he can at least take attacks from his golden form. However, Cabba with Super Saiyan Blue, on top of just having God Ki, would just be far stronger than Golden Frieza, and he would just simply punch Frieza into the face, and Dragon throws him up in the air via grabbing his tail, and launches a Gallic Cannon that would be too much for the Emperor. Frieza is eliminated early due to his cocky attitude with the Universe 6 fighters, and Champa at this point is just bragging and flexing in front of his brother right now.
Caulifla and Kale would have left to have their rematch with Goku, but that match going the same. While Prinna and Cyanel don't fight Gohan and Piccolo yet, they do want to test out that Namekian's power, but Cabba tasks them to stay, due to them needing the numbers advantage. And they comply, since they actually spend time hearing Cabba's plan out this time, and are confident they can survive this way. Piccolo stays in, due to Damon being eliminated earlier, and he would even stay on through the fight with Anilaza, with Roshi getting eliminated instead of 18. So, now Universe 7 has exactly 7 members, while Universe 11 has 2, and 6 has 7 as well. When the fighters begin rushing at each other, we have Cabba leading the charge, with all of the remaining fighters, except for Hit, fighting along with him. And the reason for that is because Hit time skips towards Universe 7, and quickly eliminates their weakest fighter, that being 18. After this, he would then engage in a battle with 17, and this is after Hit had been evolving after his fight with Jiren. And he's been spending a lot of time recovering. Meaning here, Hit even while injured is still strong enough to overpower the 3 of them with ease. However, that's when Toppo steps in and challenges Hit on the spot to try and avenge his fallen Pride Trooper Dispo. The two go at it, with Hit easily just dancing around Toppo and dropping him to the ground due to striking non-lethal vitals. Hit would prepare to defeat the warrior of Universe 11, saying how he's going to avenge no one. But Toppo hearing that, then snaps, revealing his destruction mode, which would start to overwhelm Hit, especially since the Hakai energy is erasing even the likes of his time cage, and he's seemingly caught in a point-blank blast that erases him. And, as the spectator seats go silent for a second, we then see Hit suddenly appear behind Toppo, with us then seeing multiple vital strikes suddenly striking Toppo, while Hit's just standing, indicating he's moving so fast it's like he's time skipping. Hit goes into Ultra Instinct once again, and the assassin would quickly adapt and come up with a way to counter the Hakai technique, thanks to his adaptability with not only Ultra Instinct, but just his raw potential as well. Hit would overwhelm the god, showing that his training with the angels overcame Toppo's path to godhood. As this happens, 17 finds it to be a smart move in trying to attempt to finish off Hit. But that's when a sudden Ki Blast hits the group that 17 manages to block. It's the fighters Universe 6, and they came to Hit's aid once again, with Cabba powering up, saying for the 3 of them to back off. 17 would simply say no, as he just rushes in at the Saiyan while Gohan and Piccolo also try finishing Hit off. But Cyanel and Prinera come in leading into the same 2v2 occurring in canon. While Cabba and 17 are actually pretty relative thanks to Cabba's training with Vados, which was enough to make him transform into blue. However, we cease to fight progressive with these two, Cabba loses energy, while 17 is just taking pretty bad hits. Gohan and Piccolo, after fighting the Namekians, would try and finish off Hit finally, but we see Botamo and Vegeta currently in front of the two, while Frost, like with Frieza to Goku, gives Hit some of his energy to hide out while he leads these two to take on Gohan and Piccolo, which would lead to Piccolo attempting to abuse Vegeta's weakness. But Vegeta just plays it off like he does, and then guards Piccolo right off the stage, eliminating him. Gohan, enraged at this, tries blasting at Vegeta, but Botamo's stomach manages to absorb this, and Frost in his cooler form moves in from the side to then strike Gohan. Gohan recovers and attempts to fight Frost, with him having the slight edge, due to not really fighting this entire tournament, along with just simply scaling above Frieza higher than Gohan does. With Gohan clearly having disadvantage here, and is about to get eliminated. And as this happens, Jiren is more so on the offensive with Vegeta. Goku comes in to help, with him instant transmissioning in front of Frost to block his attack. And then he uses a Kaioken x 20 Kamehameha to launch both he and Vegeta out of the stage. With most Universe 6 out of the way, these three would take on Jiren, while Cabba is brought to his limit against 17. 17 and Cabba would seemingly go for their last attack, but that's when time suddenly freezes for Cabba, revealing Hit used his time skip to grab Cabba and hide out for now. Hit took note of the android's stamina not really decreasing, and if Cabba was going to throw that last attack, it wouldn't have been enough. Cabba knows Hit is right, and would just watch in frustration while Universe 7 takes on Jiren. 17 would still sacrifice himself, with Gohan and Vegeta attempting to stall Jiren, but this only results in Gohan's demise, and Vegeta nearly being eliminated. But someone last second grabbing him as he was about to fall. We get Goku vs Jiren happening the same, and as Goku's about to be eliminated, we then see Vegeta shooting a blast to save him, while 17 and Hit show up as well. The three come together to fight Jiren, which results in him using all of his power at the start, and Goku still needs to come in, and this time it's Goku and Hit taking out Jiren. Universe 11 is erased, and Universe 7 seemingly wins. But that's when we suddenly see a blur strike 17 right off the stage. And this blur almost takes down Vegeta, but he recovers as he times his punch to tag it. This is revealed to be Cabba. who would say to Vegeta how he didn't forget the promise, as he then powers up into blue with the last of his ki. Vegeta smiles, being proud of his student, as he then uses the last of his energy to power up into blue too. The two rush at each other with the last of their power, with Vegeta being knocked out of the ring, while Cabba recovers just in time. Universe 6 wins, and this is where we get Cabba reviving Universe 7.
So beautiful, but damn! Look at my fucking forehead! Fuck! That motherfucker on slow mode, gotta go!